What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct, and today is Friday. Happy Friday, y'all. We had a great start to Week 5 of the NFL last night as the Seahawks hosted the Rams. We finally got a good Thursday night football game. Really enjoyed it. It was back and forth. It was close pretty much throughout. We had some drama with Russell Wilson dislocating his finger and not being able to come back into the game. Geno Smith, out of all people, had to come in and maybe possibly pull off a miraculous comeback for the Seahawks. It was good. It had star power. It was finally a good Thursday night football game. I'm glad we got that. We got NBA pretty much around the corner, less than 2 weeks away from opening night. A lot of drama going on right now in the NBA between Kyrie and vaccination status and Ben Simmons and all this crazy stuff going on. I'll give some thoughts on that towards the end of the show. And of course, Week 5 NFL picks are here. Gonna pick this weekend's matchups. I feel pretty good about this weekend considering our picks have been red hot lately. And yeah, hopefully we can continue that trend. But first and foremost, let's get to the highlights of last night's game between the Seahawks and the Rams. All right, so the Rams in Seattle taking on Russ and the Seahawks. And the Seahawks started off good in this game. DK Metcalf there with the touchdown, but late in the second, on 3rd and 1, the Seahawks defense stuffs the Rams, holds them to a field goal, and everyone thought this was going to be a high-scoring game. It's late in the second, and it's only 7-3 Seattle, and then Seattle drove down the field and tried a field goal for themselves, a 35-yarder, and dude missed it. What is going on with these kickers? All right, but second half, Matthew Stafford and the Rams showed up. Stafford did not play well in that first half. Here he finds Deshaun Jackson. Yes, he's with the Rams. People may forget that. We should start getting used to it because he's their long ball threat for sure. Puts the Rams in business, and then here they get the handoff on 2nd and 3 and touchdown. So the Rams go up 10-7, right? Nope, they shanked the extra point. These kickers, man. All right, and this is the play of the game, to be honest. That might have more future implications. Russ misses Tyler Lockett there, but more importantly, look at his finger. That thing is dislocated. So Russ, when he backed up to throw, got it dislocated as he hit Aaron Donald, but he came back into the game. The Rams then went down the field the other way, got a touchdown here, so now they're up 16-7. Check this punt out. The punt is blocked, and look at the punter. Gunning, and then he stopped, and then he punted again, which technically they were saying on the broadcast that this is not allowed to happen. You technically can't kick the ball twice. The refs must have all not read that chapter in the ref handbook, or the broadcaster didn't really know what he was talking about because it stood. All right, but then Geno Smith came in, finds DK Metcalf for the second touchdown of the game, but the Rams bounce right back and get a touchdown again. Geno Smith, just over 2 minutes to go, a chance to drive Seattle down. Unfortunately, Tyler Lockett slipped. It's picked, and the Rams win this game 26-17.
Scott has it for the Rams.
All right, so Seattle could not come through at the end and get the job done. So they fall to 2-3 on the season, while the Rams, coming off a loss to the Cardinals at home, bounce back, get a much-needed road win here to establish their dominance in the NFC. And they're still looking like one of the top teams, a Super Bowl contender for sure. While the Seahawks, they got bigger problems. Russell Wilson's dislocated finger hopefully won't keep him out for too long. We will see how that goes and how he heals up. Obviously, Geno Smith played relatively well coming in and picking up the slack for him, but you do not feel good moving forward if you're the Seahawks, and Geno Smith has to become your starter. He's your backup. Obviously, the Rams didn't really prep for him, and so that's why he was able to have some success, but there's a reason why he hasn't been able to break through and be a starter in this league. And so now for Seattle, dropped to 2-3. I still have them as a pretty good team that will stay in games. As long as they have Russell Wilson, they'll be all right. But I, from the get-go, was not high on this Seattle team. I think they came into this year a little bit overrated because of how good Russell Wilson is. And, that defense is just not the same as to the Legion of Boom defense. But overall, just a very entertaining game, a fun game. I put some cheese on this game and won some money. I had the over for Stafford, over 302 yards. I also picked the over on points at halftime because at halftime it was a pretty low-scoring game. It was only 7-3. And the live line at that point was 36.5. So I bet the over there, made some change. And then, of course, the bet that I recommended on last weekend's show, which, or actually on Tuesday's show, which was to take the Rams minus 2.5, and that ended up winning as well. So I was happy with the result, and I was happy to watch some football. Now basketball is in full gear with preseason going on and all the drama going on there. But let's finish off the NFL before we get to the NBA. And with that, let's get to our picks. All right, this is the magic book right here where the picks are laid out. And we've been having success with these pick'em games. So far, after 4 weeks, no bye weeks, and we don't count the Thursday night games, even though, hey, we had success in this Thursday night game, and I think last week's as well, we found some success in picking the Jags to cover the spread against the Bengals. We hit that one as well. But just off of the 15 weekend games that have been every week, so that makes up 60 games, picking the winners, I'm 40-20, which, hey, that's pretty solid. So I'll take that. So let's see if we can keep that streak going. This weekend, the games begin in London with the first London game of the season. Surprised, actually, that they even had a London game this year with all the questions around COVID and whatnot. But I'm glad they are. I'm glad that we're moving forward past this thing. So it's Atlanta taking on the Jets. Not really a home game for either one of these since they have to travel overseas. Atlanta's favored by 2.5, and I actually like that number. I think, the Falcons, they just cannot get it together. I mean, last week they should have beat Washington, and they fell apart at the end. But, even though the Jets beat the Titans last week, I still think the Jets are one of the worst teams in the NFL, if not the worst. So I expect Atlanta to at least come through, get the win, and cover that spread. So expect Atlanta to at least win by a field goal. I'm going to take the Falcons to win that. The Dolphins play the Bucs. This game is in Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers are coming off that emotional Brady return game, and I think this is a game where Brady's going to unleash. They are favored already by 10 points, but I'm backing that. I'm taking the Bucs to win and to win by more than 10. I think, Brady didn't throw any touchdowns last week. He was kind of not the Tom Brady we're used to seeing, and they barely beat an okay New England team. So Tampa Bay is coming home. They're playing the Dolphins, which got Jacoby Brissett. And frankly, I don't think the Dolphins are that good. So give me the Bucs to win and to win by more than 10 points. Eagles, Panthers. It's in Carolina, which is why I'm taking the Panthers to win this game. Since the loss of Christian McCaffrey, I don't think they're as good as their early undefeated record indicated. And they have gotten humbled as they lost to the Cowboys last week. But, they weren't getting blown out by the Cowboys, which makes me think they're still going to be a competitive team. And, the Eagles are on the road. So here I'm taking the Panthers, and right now the line is Panthers -3. So I'll take that. I think the Panthers can win by a field goal. If it was 3.5, I'd be a little scared off. But Panthers to win. Saints at Washington. And this was probably the toughest game for me to pick this week, to be honest. I do not know what to expect out of New Orleans. Every week they're a different football team, so I have no idea which way to go with them. But I'm taking them to win this week in Washington. Washington still with Taylor Heinicke. He's a backup quarterback. I think at some point he's put enough out there on tape that some defenses got to start figuring him out. So I'm going to take the Saints to win this on the road. They're favored by 2. I think it'll be close. If I'm picking spread-wise, I'm not comfortable enough to even take the 2 points. I think it could be a 1-point game, or Washington will just win. So I have zero confidence in this game. So I'm just going to pick the Saints here on the road. Titans, Jaguars. Titans are favored by 4.5, and I am going upset. I think this is where the Jags are going to get their first win of the season. Yes, they have all the Urban Meyer drama. Everyone has been talking about this coach and how horrible and blah, blah, blah. They're adults. You guys are professionals. I don't know why this is such a big deal. Morally, I think it's messed up because the dude's got a family and he shouldn't be out at a bar dancing with some rando lady. But at the same time, I'm sure there's a lot of guys on the football team, just like there's a lot of guys in our society that are walking around that are not faithful or that are doing bad things. And to be honest, I just don't think that this should be I just don't think it should affect the profession or affect how the team is going to, perform. So I'm taking the Jags. The Jags to win at home, first one of the season. Give me Jacksonville. All right, moving right along. We got the Lions taking on the Vikings in Minnesota. who is coming off a 14-7 loss to the Browns, in which their offense looked horrible. Their defense, although they only gave up 14 points, also looked horrible. They were giving up 10-plus yard runs here and there all the time. They just were getting destroyed with that Browns run game. However, I do like the Vikings to get this win. I just think the Lions aren't that good, and I think the Vikings are in the desperation mode. I think the head coach is, hanging on to his job by a thread. So I think the Vikings will win at home, but they are favored by 10, and I think that's way too high for a team that defense has looked as bad. Their offense has looked better. Obviously, they had one bad game. But, no confidence in the Vikings right now. They need to prove it, and they need to prove it against a decent team before I start giving them that kind of respect. They should not be favored by 10 points. The Lions are pretty banged up. Their tight end Hawkinson could be out. Penei Sewell, their left tackle as well. But regardless, Vikings, I expect them to win, but not by 10. All right, Broncos at Steelers. This just comes down to one question. Is Teddy Bridgewater playing? If Teddy Bridgewater is playing, give me the Broncos. Last I checked, he just needs to clear concussion protocols, as obviously he was concussed last week. I hope that he does clear that. So I'm assuming that Teddy will start for the Broncos. And if he's starting, I like the Broncos to beat the Steelers. And I think this might possibly be Roethlisberger's last game. I think if the Broncos defense shuts down the Steelers and makes Ben Roethlisberger look like a palm tree, I think that it's going to be on Ben to pretty much just come out and say, hey, I can see that I don't have it. I'm hurting this team more than helping it. I'm going to step down, and I can just be a backup quarterback this year or something. I know it's like super out there, and many people might not believe that. I just think that if I were Big Ben, at this point, that the embarrassment of playing such bad football would just overtake me to the point where I would feel like I need to step down here. Let the backup quarterback go in there, Mason Rudolph. Let him start. He gives the team a better chance to win, especially if I have another bad performance here against the Broncos. And the Broncos have a good defense, so it could very well happen. And if the Steelers drop to 1-4, at that point, might as well give somebody else a shot. And the Steelers organization doesn't want to be the one to get Big Ben out of there. So that's why I think it's kind of on him. And I don't know. I just feel like maybe that could play out here. But give me the Broncos to win. They're favored by 1 point. I'll take that, obviously, because I'm just picking them to win. All right, Packers at Bengals. This one's pretty tough, but mainly because Jair Alexander is out for the Packers, and he's their best cornerback. He's a stud. But I still think the Packers will win. However, I'm just not comfortable picking them to win by a field goal. I think it could be close. I think it could be a field goal game. But I also wouldn't be completely shocked if the Bengals find a way with their explosive offense and their weapons to match Green Bay. And, one mistake by the Packers, a fumble here or a tip ball here or there could end up in the Bengals winning this game. I expect it to be close. So Packers to win, but it'll be a close one. Pats at Texans. I love New England here. I think it's desperation mode for them as well. They're 1-3. They just lost a close one to the Bucs, which was a game that was super anticipated. I think they can move on past that. Mac Jones showed that he can play. I think New England needs to start trusting the kid more. And the main reason, they're playing Davis Mills and the Houston Texans. So I expect this to be low scoring. I think the Pats are the only team really to put up points in this game. And, right now they're favored by 9, and I think they could win by 10 or more points. So give me the Pats to win. Bears at Raiders. Tough one because you don't really know what you're going to get. We had the Bears playing Justin Fields last week, starting Justin Fields, and the week before. And last week he played well against Detroit, or at least decent. Wasn't blowing anyone out of their seats, but he played pretty solid. And the week before he struggled against Cleveland, which obviously is a different caliber defense. And the Raiders are somewhere in the middle between that Browns defense and that Detroit Lions defense. So I think it's tough to see how Justin Fields will play, but I think the Raiders coming off that loss is the reason I like them to win this game. They just lost in LA to the Chargers after a hot 3-0 start. Everyone was talking about the Raiders. Now they lose to a good team in the Chargers. I think there's a bounce back win for them. And right now the spread is Raiders by 5.5. I think they'll cover. I could see them winning by a touchdown or something like that, 28-21 or, 24-17, something like that. So give me the Raiders. Browns at Chargers. Pretty good game here, but I will say Baker Mayfield is not it. I don't care that it's just one game. I know he's got a torn labrum on his non-throwing shoulder, but when have we ever seen Baker Mayfield and said, this guy's the future quarterback and he's a franchise QB. We've never said that even with him healthy. So definitely we're not going to say that with him injured. They're playing the Chargers, which look great. Justin Herbert looks good. Their only loss of the season came to a good Dallas Cowboys team, and they made some mistakes there at the end. So Chargers are at home. They're favored by 2. I like them to win at home. I like them to win by 2 at least. Giants, Cowboys in Dallas. Give me the Cowboys all day. I think they will win this game, but they're favored by 7. I do not feel comfortable with that. It's a divisional game. The Giants played well last week and got the win against the Saints in overtime, and Daniel Jones hasn't looked completely horrible. I think it's a different animal with this Cowboys defense, but I just don't think it'll be a blowout because it's a, divisional game. So I think it'll be closer than 7, but give me the Cowboys to win at home. 49ers at Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are a great football team, and I think the Niners are not. And whether it's Jimmy G or Trey Lance, to be honest, I'm more scared of them with Trey Lance if I'm an opponent, because I think with Trey Lance, there's a little bit of the unknown. What's he going to do? He can scramble. But with Jimmy G, I just don't see it. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. So, there is a chance that Lance comes out and just does some crazy good things. But we've seen all these rookie QBs struggle this year. I think that trend will continue. The Cardinals got a decent defense. They're favored by 4.5. I'm taking the Cardinals to win and to win by more than 4.5. Give me the Cardinals, 26-20 or something like that. I think the Cardinals will win at home. Bills, Chiefs. All right, this one is the Sunday Night Football game, which is a great one. It's in Kansas City. The Bills have been beating up on everybody, but that's what's important. The people they've been beating up on are not that good of teams. They beat up on the Dolphins. They beat up on the Texans. This is a different animal with the Chiefs, at least the Chiefs' offense. The Chiefs' defense needs some work, so I think there will be points put up here. But give me the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs winning, especially because that line is 2.5. So I think it could come down to a field goal. So I'll take the Chiefs to win at home, and I'll take the spread by 2.5. The points line is at 56.5. That is super high. And, when the line tends to shift this much, I feel like it doesn't ever really reach that number. We just saw it happen last night with the Thursday Night Football game. The line was 55 at the end, right before the kickoff. So, and that game ended at 40. So, I think 56.5 is pretty damn high. But I think it'll be high scoring, but maybe not that high scoring. At some point, these defenses are going to have to show up a little bit, but we'll see. All right, last one, Monday Night Football game. Colts at the Ravens. I got the Ravens to win at home. They're favored by a touchdown, though, so I think it'll be closer than that. And there's a sneaky chance the Colts could win this game on the road. Remember, they're still desperate. The Ravens are feeling pretty good about themselves. They've gotten a couple wins in a row. That Detroit game was emotional with that doink field goal that bounced in. Then they beat the Denver Broncos. But remember, they had Drew Lock for most of the game because Teddy went out with the concussion. So I think it'll be close. I'll pick the Ravens and keep it safe there. But wouldn't be completely shocked if the Colts upset them. Those are my picks for this weekend. Super excited. It's Friday. Let's just get to Sunday. Saturday football, awesome. College games, great. At least there's football on TV, but I can't wait for Sunday. All right. We'll close the book on the picks, and let's talk a little bit about the NBA. Not going to get too much into this because, quite honestly, it's been giving me a headache. All right. Kyrie Irving, still not vaccinated. It's still just a big mess about what's going to happen. Is he going to be vaccinated? Blah, 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 blah. People that complain that it's political, that's not political. This is where I'm just going to say it's political. And the reason why it's political is because the reason that people are giving for him to get vaccinated is for player safety. That's what the argument is. That's what the reason New York is stating for why people need to be vaccinated to be inside a building is for everyone's safety. If it's about everyone's safety, all I'm going to say is this. The logic makes no sense whatsoever. What it's really about, I think, is pretty much just you're not vaccinated and we want you to get vaccinated because we want to put that power on you. Now, I am for people being vaccinated. I'm vaccinated, and I think that that's just, at this point, a necessity in our world to be part of society or whatnot. But because of that, it does not make sense. This is the part right here that doesn't make sense to me. Kyrie could get the first shot of his COVID vaccination, And as soon as he gets his first shot, now he's allowed to play and now he's allowed to practice. Hold up. I thought you weren't fully vaccinated until 2 weeks after your second vaccine or 2 weeks after your Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So that in itself right there is the only argument that's needed to prove that it is not about safety. How can you say it's about safety when Kyrie would still be a risk to society, the same amount of risk to society, if he's not vaccinated or if he's got one dose? So when I heard that, that blew my mind. That makes no sense, which, I think Kyrie's a little crazy. I think he's way out there. His whole flat earth crap is a little weird. But if this is his argument, I'm sorry, but he has a point. He has a point. Kyrie should not be allowed to enter the building or practice or play in New York until 2 weeks after his second vaccination. That has been what the CDC and everyone around us has told us. You are not fully vaccinated until 2 weeks after your full vaccination status. So to tell us that if he gets his first shot, now the next day he can go play, then it's not about player safety. It's not about safety at all. And I mean, I could read between the lines right there. And there's no other argument needed. Logically, that just does not make sense. So that's where that's coming from. I don't have sympathy for Kyrie. I don't feel sorry for Kyrie. I'm not like on Kyrie's side here. I think at this point, if you want to work, like if that's a requirement for your job, let it be. You need to get vaccinated to play, and that's what it is. And those are the rules of your job. And if you don't like it, no problem. You can quit your job and go away. That's fine too. Find a different profession. Totally cool. But that's what bothers me. And if that is what bothers Kyrie, at the end of the day, you still need to get vaccinated. But he has a point if that's his argument, because that just does not make any sense. So that's my take on that. And we'll see, obviously, how the NBA season develops. And then on the Ben Simmons front, I mean, hey, you don't want to play? Don't play. You're going to lose all your money. That's totally cool. But I think this is a crucial part in the NBA, because if I'm a fellow NBA guy, I'm going to be really mad at Ben Simmons because he is costing us a lot of money right now. Because what's going to happen is if he gets his way, if he gets traded, or even if that fine money that he's being fined gets returned to him at a certain point, the owners are the ones losing out here. And you know what's going to happen at the next time that the PA and the NBA sit at a table? There's either going to be a lockout, or the owners are just not going to have it, and they're not going to be giving out guaranteed money for players to act like this. It started off with, 1 year before your contract expires, you tell them you want to be traded so that they don't lose the asset for nothing. Then Anthony Davis started pushing it to 2 years before your contract expires. Now Ben Simmons is doing this 4 years after it expires. Like, where's your commitment to what you signed on the dotted line? Then don't sign that contract. And that's what the owners are going to do at some point. It's going to backfire. So, this may work out for Ben Simmons, and that's great. But for the next generation of basketball guys, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt because the next time they sit down at the table, if I'm an NBA owner, I'm going to say, hey, we're not guaranteeing contracts anymore. Or we're only guaranteeing half of it. Because now there's a chance that you're going to pull some crap like this, where after the first year of your 5-year deal, you're going to complain that you want out, and we're supposed to pay you and honor you, and you're supposed to screw over the organization. So, I mean, it sucks for all the other guys that are going to suffer from this later. It might not be Ben Simmons. It wasn't James Harden. He got his way. But at some point, I'm very fearful that it's going to hurt. It's our biggest sin probably as a society is greed. Once you get an inch, you want the whole thing. You want more and more, and you take a mile. That's the saying, and then that's just what's happening here, I think. Give them an inch and they take a mile, and that's what's happening. Before it was like, hey, all right, it's your last year of your contract. We'll do you the favor. Thank you for looking out for the team. We'll just trade you now so that you could be happier. Cool. But then these guys started abusing of it, and now it's getting a bit ridiculous, to be honest. With Harden pulling that last year, now Ben Simmons doing this. At the end of the day, it's just going to hurt the players, and that's the sad thing about it. And There's some guys who do have the best interest of the league and the players in mind, while still looking out for themselves. And there's a fair balance there. And with Ben Simmons, that's just not happening right now. And I don't know how this gets resolved. I wouldn't even want him to come back to the team at this point if he's just going to come back and be a disgruntled worker. I mean, if you just think of it as like a regular job, if someone's going to come in here and just be pouty the whole time, you'd rather send them home. But the problem is you're sending someone home who you're paying a bunch of millions to, and you already agreed and you're legally obligated to pay them all those millions as long as they show up. So Ben Simmons could literally show up right now and never shoot a shot and just stand on the floor and stand on the corner and just run suicides back and forth on the basketball court. And that checks the box of, hey, I played and I showed up to work. And the team is stuck paying him all these millions of dollars. And that's a great thing. I'm happy for the players that's the way they've been able to work their way up to that kind of respect. But this is the way you work your way down that ladder of respect. And like I said, unfortunately, it's going to hurt a lot more people than just Ben Simmons. So we'll see how this gets figured out. But hopefully other NBA guys are in his ear telling him, like, hey, man, we need you to suck it up. It's a job. Not everyone loves their job. Sometimes people stick it out for a year or two at a job that they do not like. And quite frankly, he doesn't have to stick it out for a year or two. He could probably just come back, play his butt off, and stick it out for a couple months, 3 months, play solid basketball, and they'll trade you because the market for you will be a lot higher, and then you can move on. And even that's the team doing you a favor by sending you away with 3 years left on the deal that you signed. Nobody made you sign that contract. You chose to sign it. So that's just me. So that's my take on the NBA. Like I said, we'll have another episode at some point before the season kicks off where I'll rank the teams. We'll see what we expect. Maybe I'll have a friend of mine on and we can talk a little bit more about the NBA. But NFL's in full swing. We're rolling. Baseball is in the playoffs. The Yankees lost. I don't want to talk about that. But good for the Red Sox. They smacked them. And that's what the Yankees deserve. When you hit a ball that you think is probably a home run and you're jogging around the base, I'm sorry. This is a Game 7 situation. So, yeah, I'm going to talk baseball for a minute. The Yankees-Red Sox game was so frustrating from the get-go. Giancarlo Stanton comes in, blasts a hit off the green monster that obviously it looked like a home run. But this is Game 7 pretty much. This is live or die. You are one of the stars of the team. You hustle. I don't care how far this home run is. Hustle. This ball bounced off the green monster and the man only got a single for it. That's all. And that was pretty much the game right there. I knew at that point, man, if your star is ending up with a complacent single off something that should have at minimum been a double, that sets the precedent right there. Like, how bad do you want it? This is your Game 7. You hustle. So I was pissed off already from the get-go in that game, and the Yankees lost, and that's their season, and that's what happens. Good for the Red Sox. Congratulations. All right, guys. Enough sports for a day. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the NFL. Enjoy baseball playoffs. And enjoy some preseason basketball if you're watching those games, because I for sure am. So can't wait for the NBA to start. Super excited about that. Hopefully all this drama gets behind the league and they can move forward. I can't wait. Basketball starts in less than 2 weeks. The NFL, Week 5, started last night. We're in it now. Let's go. All right. Talk to you guys next week as we recap Week 5 of the NFL and see what else is going on in the sports world.